the human connection. And I like to look at a lot of social media, social networking, especially for professional purposes, as a way to augment those human connections that we establish in real life. Not as a substitute, but as an augmentation of it. So that's the way I try to live a lot of my professional and personal connections. So what I want to kind of focus on here is, well, we're in a situation now where you're building a very local geography-based association for a lot of wonderful reasons. But probably a lot of your businesses do have a global element, or maybe that's an aspiration that you have, a few years down the road, is to become a more global organization, or perhaps you work for regional offices of a currently large global company. Or, we're all going to be job hunting at different points in our life, and maybe there's something that is out there beyond your postal code that you might be discovered for. So that's kind of the angle I want to look at here, is beyond the local, how do we use the online world that we have at our fingertips today to transcend not only geography, but also generations. So I'm going to focus on a lot of social media tactics and stories and anecdotes, things that have worked in my professional world, because there's been a real change out there. If I go back to September, or actually June 2009, so a year ago, the story really starts. How did a 28-year-old whiz kid from Paris, France, find a completely bored 41-year-old sitting in Waterloo, in a middle management position with a large corporation, which really didn't know what I was supposed to be doing for the next 6 months. So how did that connection happen with no resume and no references? And so now I'm the chief marketing officer for that Paris company, and trying to take that very small company into a very large competitive world of enterprise content management, going head to head with the IBM finalists and the open text. How do we do that? Purely online. So that's kind of my context. Sorry, question?
You were just that good.
But how do you know that?
It's on the side there, Cheryl. It's on that wheel on the side. Wherever you're found it, there you go. Yep.
Got it. All right. So before I took this particular position, I spent about 10 years with large companies through various acquisitions. My last really interesting project working for OpenText was running their enterprise tools strategy team. So what did that mean? It meant, how do businesses bring social networking, collaboration, Web 2.0, digital asset management, internal for better person-to-person communication, help businesses become more efficient, productive, all that great stuff. So in order to credibly live that particular role and guide a team with some element of walking the talk and not just pretending to do it, I really took a very conscious move to dive full force into the world of online social media, and I blended personal and professional probably more than it's appropriate for a lot of people. Not everyone's comfort zone, but it actually can work. Because what I realized very quickly is the web is a great leveler of the playing field. When you are chatting with someone in a tech support environment, when you are communicating with a potential lead or prospect, you have no idea if that person is sitting in India, in San Francisco, in Paris, France, in Kitchener-Waterloo. So the web really is bringing people together at an unprecedented level for both personal and professional connections. I think we know that. But until we start seeing some of these connections kind of unfold before our eyes, it doesn't really become real necessarily. So it's becoming easier now for small companies to compete with big ones head to head, because the feature strengths, the technology platforms that small companies can offer can be more agile potentially than the bigger incumbents. New companies can compete head-to-head with established providers, be more responsive potentially to what customers are doing. Customers actually are often on the leading edge of what's going on. It makes it so much easier to look way bigger than you are. So if the camera adds 20 pounds, I'd say the online social network phenomenon adds like 2,000 people to your company perception side. So it's easier to be out there and make people believe that you're at every event, that you're participating in all kinds of things, because the web makes it easier to get your message out in multiple channels in multiple ways. From a personal perspective, though, it also is extremely important to help build out your global street cred in whatever area of expertise it is, whether it's marketing, whether it's software development, whether it's architecture, business, finance, whatever piece of expertise you have. I think the most important thing is getting started now, even if you don't think you need it, if you're not job hunting, still start now. If your company is small and regional and you're kind of handling enough business to keep yourself going, doesn't matter. You got to start now. Because at some point, something's going to change. You're going to get bored. The company may shut down. Circumstances change. You may be forced to move. How are you actually going to have that personal, professional profile easily found online where someone is going to want to hire you? Or where someone is going to want to engage your company or your consulting expertise to deliver a particular product or service? The reason I say start now is, 2 years ago when I took that Enterprise 2.0 position with OpenText, I was doing a lot of this stuff just to learn. So how do I blog professionally? What's this Twitter thing that looks goofy? But that 2 years of kind of building up that online presence, professional expertise, the ability to start communicating with people outside of my organization, helped build out that kind of that veneer or that bubble of expertise that I was able to then take and immediately transfer to a brand new company with zero North American presence and suddenly have hundreds of people who know their name just because of that one particular hire that their CEO made. So even if you're not looking, if you're not trying to grow, you still want to start now.
Oh, quick question. Did he hire you
Yes.
because you had a whole bunch of followers?
That's
Now what you're
part of
saying?
it. That actually was part of it.
Okay.
It was only 200 back then, but that actually was part of it. Because at some point, you're going to need to be recognized, whether it's your company or your personal self. And I hate the term personal brand, by the way. The next person who says personal brand needs to have like a red hot poker in their hand and be ready to use it. I prefer someone who can give a voice to their thoughts, be authentic. The term brand, I think, has become one of those words ready to die, especially when it's personal. I used this slide last December. I did a social networking 101 workshop for a bunch of my ex-colleagues who got fired right before Christmas. And it was a really difficult workshop because there's a lot of people who didn't see it coming. So this is where, welcome to Nobody Cares, population 6 billion. Anybody here a Gaping Void fan? Hugh McLeod? He's on my ex-husband list. But truly, whether it's your company you're trying to promote or you're just build up your own professional credibility, you really need to take care of it yourself. Because ultimately, you're the only one that you can invest in, and you can't necessarily worry about your corporation or your current employer taking care of that for you. So building out your own presence, whether it start with LinkedIn, whether it's engaging in different community associations such as this, you got to start. So, all this stuff, you probably know the drill. How many people are active on things like blogs, personally and professionally? Okay, so pretty good population. Wikis, Twitter, yes, good, very good. Different community sites, association sites, also good. So, I'm not going to go through all the different tools and platforms and channels, because I think most of us know the drill by now. But this is absolutely becoming one of the main ways to develop business connections and to promote your products and services. I absolutely do not understand marketing departments that still, for whatever reason, don't get this.